What's going on, people? This is not going to be a long video. This is going to be quite short video. I just want to respond to a question that was asked to me on Twitter. Now, if you're not following me on Twitter, go to Twitter, FearlessJ1111, FearlessJ1111. That's my Twitter handle. I also have another Twitter handle, GruntVet2012. GruntVet2012. And you can see that right here where this person applied to both of my Twitter channels. This is GruntVet2012 and FearlessJ1111. So if you're on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. Now you see his question, and I think his question is quite sincere, okay? And being his question is quite sincere and respectful, I'm going to speak on it. He says, the Democrat Plantation comparison never made sense. Now, he's referring to an article I posted on Twitter. It's a cartoon where it's talking about how there's really no difference between the Democratic Plantation in the past and today. And what I'll do is I'll put a link to that article on the bottom, and you guys can check it out for yourself on my WordPress. But he said the Democrat Plantation comparison never made sense. Don't people work without pay on a plantation? But according to this cartoon, you don't work and get welfare checks. You don't see how this is the exact opposite of a plantation? What does Democratic politician get in return? Now this is quite simple. The answer to this is quite simple. He said the Democrat plantation comparison never made sense. Don't people work without pay on plantation? Now, on a plantation, you may work without pay, but you have free food, free health care, and lodging, a place to stay. That's what you have on the plantation. You don't get paid monetary. You just get free food, health care, and lodging. Then he says, but according to this cartoon, you don't work and get welfare checks. You don't see how this is the exact opposite of a plantation? Now, think about it. The Democrat Party promises free health care. They promise public assistance, welfare, free education. They're promising everything free. What do they get in return? They get your votes. Not only do they get your votes, but many Demoncraps, black and white, are always on the picket line. You guys are out there protesting. You're working. You're working. You're protesting. Now, they do have paid protesters, professional protesters that show up with signs that's already made, just like in the case of Pennsylvania. All of a sudden, all these people, they got all these protesters. It happened in New York City. All of these protesters. It happened in malls where people were laying down on the floor protesting. Those are paid protesters. But then you have the protesters that don't get paid, but they're looking for the free food. They're looking for the free health care. They're looking for the free lodging. Now, the free lodging comes in where you have the so-called poor people that are on Section 8, where some of them only pay like maybe $75 a month, if that. They get free child care. The education in many cases are free now. Just like locally here, if you go to Syracuse City School District, they have like they call the No Left Behind or the Say Yes program, where free education is given to you. So yes, you're working. You're not getting paid monetary compensation, but you're getting free food, you're getting free lodging, you're getting free healthcare. That's what they're running on. So who's paying for this? The people that are working and that are paying their tax dollars into the pot. That's why people like that are upset. Or they're after the rich man's money. It's his money. But everybody wants the rich man's money. Right? So, to answer your question, the Democrat plantation comparison never made sense. I hope it makes sense to you now. Don't people work without pay on a plantation? Of course, they're not getting paid. They're getting free food, just like in the cartoon. In this cartoon, back then and even now, they're promising everything free. We're living in a time where nobody wants to work and earn nothing. They want everything given to them free. Now the gullible is going to run out there and they're going to vote for the Demoncrap Party because they promised them. They've been promising free stuff since the 1800s, and you have not gotten it yet. They may give you a few crumbs, but you're still crying poor. And what do they get in return? They get your votes. And when they get your votes, you put them in position to make their family wealthy, because they make money, and now their children are going to grow up and maybe be politicians or make money. It's a generational thing. So while they're giving you free stuff and you're staying on the bottom with your hands out begging, they're advancing in life and they're making future wealth for their children. They are creating their children's future off your backs, off of your votes. So a lot of times black people or people may not think much about votes, but votes put them in power. So they want you, the poor person, to put them in power, and they promise you crumbs. I'll give you free stuff. You can stay in poverty, you can stay on the plantation, just vote for me. And I'll do this for you. At least President Donald Trump, regardless of how much you don't like him, or what you think you may know about him, or what you think you may be against him, at least he's created jobs for you to work. He's created maybe some training programs, like for people that were incarcerated, that's getting out of jail and can't get a job. He's now preparing a path where you can create for yourself and become a part of society, to create for yourself and for the future of your children and your grandchildren. So I hope I answered your question. I could be wrong, but I think your question is sincere. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that really don't understand or overstand the comparison with the Demoncrap plantation and why we refer to a plantation. But it's like you're on a plantation because you're working for nothing and they're promising you free stuff. On a plantation, you get free food, lodging, you know. The clothings are not even up to par, you know. And you got people that's content with the plantation. The prison system is a type of plantation because in prison, they can lift weights all day. They don't have to buy a health club membership. They can eat food, prison food. They got their family members and loved ones that's bringing them books and candy and cookies and, you know, all of these snacks, underwear, socks that they don't pay for. Somebody else is paying for that. So they're content with being in prison. They've made prison so comfortable because prison is a big business, right? And it tells you in the Constitution that slavery was done away with except for if you are incarcerated. So yes, the prison is a plantation. And unfortunately, many black and Latino males love going to prison, especially in the wintertime, because they got a place to stay, they got 3 hots and a cot, they can lift weights, read books, and then the people that really didn't support them when they were outside are now sending them care packages. And when it comes to sex, they got each other. So yes, it's a plantation, and unfortunately many black people and now a lot of white people are on the Demoncrap plantation, and they just refuse to let go for the benefit of themselves and their families. So feedback, tell me what you think. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to this channel. Until next time, I'm fearless.